So tonight I have a very special guest with me. He is my father. He helped co-create me along with my mother almost 29 years ago. My birthday is in about 2 days. Just FYI, if anyone wants to send me gifts. No, just kidding. So tonight we're actually going to be discussing the new norm after loss. So oftentimes when you're stricken with death, whether it be the loss of, a mother, a father, a sibling, a aunt, a cousin, a grandparent, or whoever the case may be, you know, we're left with the feelings of, okay, what is life gonna look like after this? How do we start to rebuild again? And sometimes we're often left looking for the norm that we had when that person was still alive. For instance, I'll put myself as an example. When my mom passed away, I wasn't sure how to proceed because, again, I had already been with her for 20 years and this was my mom, this was my everything. So I was running in circles almost looking for that same feeling that I had when she was still alive. And it wasn't until someone actually told me, unfortunately, you have to start to build a new norm. You have to almost have a restart on your life, find out, how are you going to continue after this? And that is not always an easy task because, again, the person was supposed to be here. You envision life with them in it, not necessarily, not with them. So my dad is here to actually share his experience with loss and kind of how, the norm was before the loss happened and after the loss, and how, what are some of the things that death actually taught him. So without further ado, here is my father. By the way, his name is Ramon Fernandez, in case you wanted to know.
Thank you, Gia. Thank you. Well, as my daughter Lindsay said, my name is Ramon Fernandez, and about 4 years ago, I went through a very, was like kind of a volcano in my life, and that has turned around very progressively. And as far as having a big loss as I did. Before 2015, I had my only brother, a younger brother than me, very good friends, and it was very special, my whole family, especially for me. And those times we shared together, it was unbelievable. You come up when that happens with something like when you were, children playing around until today, up to now. And when that, I received a call 2015, something unexpected happened in a very dramatic situation. My parents were here with me sharing, and actually my brother was in my country in Dominican Republic, and I just received a call nobody wants to receive. It was something, he suffered from a sudden heart attack, and that blew him up and passed away immediately with no signs of recovery or anything. At that time, I thought that the world was gonna turn on top of me, and I was not gonna be able to lift, stand up again. And I had, thanks to the family, my wife and children's support, which has had to do a lot with it, and recovery has been gradually, which this is a pain that up to now, is sometimes you think it's not gonna heal. And when that happened, it was, terrible, knowing that you're not gonna see one of your loved ones again. It's very tough, but at the same time, it teaches you a lesson. As the time goes by, I have learned, seeing a lot of pain in myself as a man, my family, and we never had such a close loss before. And as the time goes by, I have, 4 years from when that happened, I have told myself it's got to be another way to take this situation. And I have adopted a own way right or wrong, I don't know, but you know, it feels a lot better. Try to remember him in the good moments. He was very enthusiastic and a very good sense of humor. He had, it was like a storyteller. We were laughing all the time because of him telling his stories. And I tried, whenever I have a situation that he would be saying something about, I say, well, just like my brother would have said. And that makes me feel some kind of relief to go over with the situation. 4 years have passed since then, and one of a sudden, that hits you hard sometimes. I've learned to live with his memories, and every time I think of him, I try to think about the good things we did together, that he did for us, and so on. And you know, at this level, I'm able to look at his pictures, videos, and having another kind of feeling other than crying or, you know, being sorry about. Of course, we're sorry we don't have him, but we just pray God that we meet again when we're gone. So try to take things in a more realistic way as far as the life perspective is. And up to now, I have learned to live with some of that terrible pain that I thought was not gonna recover from. And thank you, Lindsay, my babe, for giving me this space, taking me into consideration to, you know, to spread out my own living experience, which is, you know, was very hard for me. Never happened before, and I hope it doesn't again. And just pray God. I have, you know, learned a lot from this hard lesson. Uh, After that, I've learned to take care of myself more because I got kids that need me, I got a wife that needs me, and they need me strong. So as far as healthcare is concerned, I have, you know, I have started to take care of myself a lot more. And that's basically from 4 years ago to the present. I feel it, of course, but in a different way.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And again, it takes a lot of courage to be able to talk about your experience, just because even before asking my dad to like actually come on this video with me, you know, I said, you know, if it's too much for you to handle, it's okay for you to tell me no right now, because I understand that, again, grief can feel so overwhelming that even the thought about reliving that experience, because every time you tell the story of how the event happened, how the day happened, you kind of get into that same mind state that you were 4 years ago, that you were 9 years ago. So I know what it's like because I experienced the same myself. So again, thank you so much, because again, I know it took you a lot of courage, a lot of strength, and you know, I really appreciate you sharing your experience. And I was there pretty much, you know, front and center for the entire experience, and seeing my dad in such extreme agony, because there's no better feeling to explain it than just agonizing pain, where you just feel like the weight of the world just came collapsing on top of your head and you don't know how to proceed. And that's difficult to see the light when you're going through all those dark moments. You know, that's something that I experienced myself as well with my mom. I was just like, no, like this is not what life is supposed to be like right now. I'm 20 years old. Like there's no way in hell I'm supposed to live the rest of my life, you know, without my mother. And the same for my dad, where it's like him and his brother were like best friends. Like you would see them and it was like two peas in a pod. They even look alike, you know? So it's like the last time that I saw my uncle, it was, you know, again in the same usual context, which was him storytelling or making jokes, because that's just the person he was. He made light of everything. He didn't let anything stress him, and he just liked to have a good time and make sure that those around him, you know, had a great time and were laughing. So to have that light kind of dimmed, and have him taken away from us, you know, it was a big hit to the family. It was a big hit on an emotional side where, again, you see very deep into, you know, sadness, into pain, into anger, into just like what is going on. But again, without death, we can't appreciate life. And unfortunately, while we're never going to be ready for it, it's something that we have to learn how to be able to cope with and process. And again, as my dad mentioned, it's not that the pain has left, and it's not that he doesn't think about him and get sad, and it's not that he doesn't cry still about him. You know, it's just the fact that he handles the pain and carries the pain in a different way, where he tries to think about, you know, those funny moments and those good times in order to bring himself some solace. You know, immediately, like, that for me was too painful, so I oftentimes didn't think of the memories, even though people would say, oh, just remember, you know, the good times with your mom, where it's like, no, I don't want to remember the good times, because then those good times just became memories, you know. And that's why in my previous video I made a point to tell you guys, truly appreciate everyone you have around you and you care about, because let me tell you, it takes a second for you to like be gone, and that's how quickly life will just come out of your body. You know, we're not promised the next 5 minutes, we're not promised the next hour. So that's why, again, in making these videos, I just hope that you guys can connect to what I'm saying. You guys can feel like, yes, you know, me too, I've experienced that, or, you know, that's something that I didn't know. So whether it can help you on a personal level, or help you to understand perhaps others around you that perhaps are experiencing, you know, the loss of a loved one, you know, it helps you just to keep you grounded in terms of, okay, what am I working with? So again, thank you so much for coming on this video. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So if you guys have any feedback, any suggestions or comments, feel free to either comment below or simply send me an email. So until the next, take care.